It can only be attributable to human error.
You're entering paranormal.
He meddled in things that you keep so far. He meddled in things. He meddled in myths.
Where will we go next? It's a phantom from another time.
No one, Mr. Mulder.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
That is one big pile of shit.
Hi, I'm Alex Daikaiju. Across from me,
Eli Watson.
and over to the left.
Eli, Stephen Myers.
Hey, and we are Cryptid Campfire.
Eli, what?
Oh, the Chupacabra. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cryptid Campfire. I think we've been on the raft for a couple weeks,
I don't know.
sailing for adventure.
We're talking about one of our favorite cryptid boys.
Oh?
That's the good old crackers.
Crackers.
The Kraken barrel.
It's the crack, dude.
Talking about rich crackers. When you put the cheese and a little salami on it, we make a really good sandwich.
Good old Cracker Jack.
So it's the Kraken. You
Yes.
guessed it. Our favorite cephalopod.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Stefan, are you going to hold up? During this episode, Stefan has a deep fear of tentacles.
Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. I actually hadn't really thought about it.
Oh,
Alright,
It was
oops.
like so abstract in my head that like.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay, cool.
And now you've made it.
I've made it.
That's like, hey, I hope you're over your fear of fires, because I'm making a wok of fried rice and it's just fire everywhere. Ah!
We're walking over hot coals for a community banquet.
And we signed you up. If you don't do it, we get to pants you. Ah!
What?
But I got, for the Kraken, I got that it was a cephalopod-like sea monster of giant size in Scandinavian folklore.
Oh, I got that. Kraken is puts the power in your hands to buy, sell, and trade digital currency. Currently valued at $4 billion.
Oh, no.
They're the most popular cryptocurrency in the world.
Crypto?
Oh no, that's right, everyone. That's the end of Cryptid Campfire. It's now Crypto Campfire. We're bringing you the best, the hottest, and the latest cryptocurrency news you need today.
Exchange
now.
all your cryptocurrency ad-free.
Buy, sell, trade.
Oh, Lord. That straight up came up when I typed in Kraken.
Yeah. It was the first thing I clicked on. I was like, what is this?
No, I've seen ads for it.
Really?
Yeah, this is not a paid advertisement.
Oh, yeah. That's what it says.
I'm not tied. No, that's what I say, dude. None of us are getting paid for this. Free airplay.
Oh, my. Well,
That's good.
so going back to the cephalopod of great power, Norwegian and Swedish.
Yeah.
So in Norwegian and Swedish, Kraken is the form of the word crack.
You mean crack egg?
Crack
Okay.
Sure. It means an unhealthy animal or something twisted.
Mm-hmm.
And so more kind of like crook. The word crook is what they equate it to. But in German, Kraken means octopus.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, da, da, dun, da, da, da.
So, I don't know what the earliest like reports you got of what a kraken is, or if you guys have any cool legends of krakens, but
Oh, real quick, just going back to the name.
yeah,
So it's a Scandinavian word, and it means like an unhealthy animal, or maybe like something twisted, something bad.
yeah.
Then the German word is Kraken, and is that just like a coincidence? Is that like a misspelling? Like when the Scandinavians came down to Germany and they're just like, hey, stay away from that area. It's got the crack, and they're like, oh, are you trying to say Kraken like the big octopus up there?
Well, actually, the kraken is plural, or I think it's singular, and then krake in German is the
Oh,
plural
okay.
version.
Oh, I thought it was Kraken Eye.
So no, kraken is a word in both languages, and so is krake.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they
So-
mean different things.
But they mean different things.
But they sound so it's just
Yeah.
funny, like we get the Kraken because in Germany it means to crack something in half.
Yeah.
But then also that's the word for a giant monster in Scandinavian. So
Yeah.
oopsie.
So
I wonder what
let-
they had to call it in Germany when they did Pirates of the
I don't
Caribbean,
know.
and the Kraken shows up, and they can't call it the Kraken because they'll be like, well, that's
Well,
just
it
like
is
octopuses.
I'm sure that it would have just been Kraken, dude. Because it could mean octopus and also the monster. It's it's attributed. It's
but just
attributed.
imagine that just like, here comes the octopus. Imagine that whole movie, them calling it release the octopus. And they say it with like such conviction.
Yeah,
You're
but
like,
there was no weight to the word octopus, dude. Like, you're like, Kraken. That like sounds like something crazy.
Because we associate it with this is a giant monster, but then they're like, oh,
Bring out the squid!
Yeah. Bring it out! And here comes the squid! And they're like, oh my god, the squid! And everyone's running in fear.
Yeah.
So, the year 1250, a book is released. 1250 AD, year of our Lord. An anonymous author who published this book, which is an old Norwegian history book called The King's Mirror, was an educational text for King Magnus Lagabøte. So he created this book for this king.
What a name.
Yeah, Magnus.
Vagabote. That's what he was talking about. Magnus.
I'm joking, dude.
Well, Magnus is a cool name, too.
I think the real takeaway from his name is King, dude.
Never heard that before.
That's his first name, King. He was born to be destined.
He was born to be destined. That's fantastic.
Alright. So, this anonymous author, anonymous guy, we don't know who he was. We don't have his name. But he came back from Greenland, wrote down the details of the physical characteristics and feeding behavior of the beasts known as the Kraken. So the narrator proposed that there was only 2 in existence because they were always seen in the same parts of the Greenland Sea over and over again.
Okay.
And he also proposed there was only 2 because they seemed incapable of reproduction because there was no increase in their numbers.
They couldn't love each other.
Yeah, dude. So I don't...
You know I have a hormone disorder.
Well, it's funny, too, because unless they could spot that they had that it was the same one each time, or else you keep seeing like 2, and it's like, oh, 2 and 2. And you're
I like how they only
could
stay in their like respective areas. Like, they're these huge things with a giant ocean. They're like, yeah, what's there?
Maybe that's why they can't copulate. They're too respectful.
Well, the ideas of Krakens was like different from what we have now. So here's another version of the Kraken here. So this is 13th century of a version of the Iceland saga Ovar Oder.
Ooh,
and
the Iceland saga. That sounds cool.
So it contains an episode which takes the protagonist to the Greenland Sea where they spot 2 massive sea creatures called the Hafgufa, which translates to sea mist, and the Lingbacher, which is leatherback or heatherback.
Heatherback.
Yeah, it's Ovar Oder.
After he's telling his own story.
Yeah. So I'm
Odar.
supposedly, it's kind of like one of those oral traditions, kind of like the Odyssey or something.
Oh, okay. Or like Beowulf or something.
Yeah, just something like that. So this is a quote from this epic, this saga, if you will, that talks about the Hafgufa.
Yeah.
So now I will tell you there are 2 sea monsters. One is called the Hafgufa, another Lingbacher. It, meaning the Lingbacher, is the largest whale in the world, but the Hafgufa is the largest monster in the sea. It is the nature of this creature to swallow men and ships and even whales and everything else within reach. It stays submerged for days, then rears its head and nostrils above surface and stays that way, unleashed until the change of tide. Now that sound we just sailed through was the space between its jaws, and its nostrils and lower jaw were those rocks that appeared in the sea, while the Lingbacher was the island we saw sinking down. However, Ogmund Tussock has sent these creatures to you by means of his magic to cause the death of you and all your men.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was dope.
So, but like...
Eat that, Tolkien.
Yeah.
That was sick.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah. Just like the big giant buff Viking guy. He's got like an axe in his hand on a ship, and there's just monsters everywhere. It's just, I am Utenhagen.
Yeah.
And he takes his shirt off and starts wrestling and eating the dinosaurs and stuff.
I feel like the Kraken is definitely misunderstood, though.
No, yeah, it's not like so much of a squid as we kind of think of it
It's
now.
more like a whale?
No.
I read that it
Or
was
is it-
crab-like.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crab-like.
Yeah,
It
like it
kind
had
of
a
like
ho-
stays at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it has
yeah.
like what is it? Horns or like spikes on it?
Mm-hmm.
Spiky
Yeah.
crab.
Yeah.
Ooh, with a clown face.
Just minding its own business. People poking it with sticks.
Yeah.
Just trying to sing Under the Sea.
So this guy, Eric Pontoppidan, he was the Bishop of Bergen, and he wrote The First Attempt at a Natural History of Norway in 1752.
Okay.
And he had researched the Kraken extensively, and he said that sometimes it was mistaken for an island. And that the danger wasn't so much that the Kraken itself was going to get you, but the whirlpool it left in its wake when it went back underwater.
Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
It's kind
Yeah.
of like, have you seen Attack on Titan, where like the colossal one comes through, and just the wind of it walking like makes people like sail,
Yeah, or like
just fly.
Rodan.
Yeah.
When Rodan flies in Godzilla, and it's
Yeah.
just the aftermath of the wind just destroys houses.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing it on purpose. He's just so
Yeah.
big. That's cool. Or even you figure Godzilla, when he goes to the ocean, he leaves like kind of a little tidal
Yeah,
whirlpool.
Yeah. He also
Ooh.
wrote that if the creature's arms were to lay hold of the largest man of war, they would pull it down to the bottom.
Big beefy arms.
Yeah.
Because a warship. Is this a warship?
No, Man-O-War is like
Man-O-War.
they're
Man-O-War.
kind of like jellyfish types things.
No, we're talking about the ships.
Yeah,
The Man of War.
The Man of War is like the big
Yeah.
giant warship, but a Man of War of also
yeah.
of jellyfish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a giant jellyfish.
But I mean, it's
yeah.
tough too. It can withstand the sting of the jellyfish.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't know if that's that impressive.
It's
Like,
got
you can
tiny
just squeeze those
tiny
things.
little
You don't gotta
baby
pull 'em
arms.
down. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's giant. It's pulling down warships when it just
Okay.
puts its arm down.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah,
Just like
dude.
like the suction that its arm creates.
Mm.
The whole ship.
It just
Into
like
the
parts
water?
the Red Sea almost. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
might as well. It's crazy.
So, Pontoppidan also says that a young specimen of the Kraken washed ashore and died in 1680 at Alstaberg. I think that's in Greenland.
Mm.
And it was, they kind of talk about this
It's
a
in
little
Norway.
bit. Oh, Norway. My bad. My
No,
bad.
I mean, I just
Oh,
had
yeah.
it right here. That's why I said.
Right on. So Norway. So a thing that I kept reading about sightings like this of washed ashore like cephalopods, is that they often were just like, wow, look at that thing, it's so big. This would make great dog food. And then they would just chop it up and feed it to their dogs. It wasn't
Oh.
really like studied or like,
Yeah, they're just like, hey, free
Like
food.
a
Yeah.
gelatinous mass.
Come and
Oh,
get
yeah,
it,
my
puppies.
dog will love this.
yeah, dude, I don't.
He'll be eating for 2 whole
Yeah.
weeks.
Dang, those Norwegian dogs got it rough, man.
So I should say as well that I'm getting a lot of this information about old, like, sightings and reports from Bernard Heuvelmann's book, In the Wake of the Sea Serpent.
Oh,
So it's translated from French, actually. So I have a version in English.
that's a cool title too.
Yeah, and he was considered the father of cryptozoology.
He was.
Yeah, so this is like the first, like, one of the first cryptozoology books out there.
But if I'm honest, dude, I think for the rest of the time, if you're gonna cite from that book, you need to do the French version.
Okay, I'll
So,
try. I don't
So
have the French
a little
version.
bit disrespectful.
You
I
gotta
feel like.
you gotta act all snooty.
Yeah.
and
Add,
eat
add
snails.
subtitles, dude.
Oui, the cryptid poo poo.
Let's see. So then we also have this guy, and this is kind of matches the Ovar Odor kind of like style of Kraken.
Okay, like the epic.
Yeah. And so he describes it as like a crabfish. He describes it as a crabfish, but
This is Jacob Wallenberg.
yeah, Jacob Wallenberg. And he says he doesn't give any exact size estimates, but he says it takes 3 months to eat, and it lives on the ocean floor, just kind of like sucking things in.
Whoa.
And then it takes 3 months to digest this food, and then he rises up to the top of the ocean and just kind of chills there as an island
Whoa.
for a little bit before sinking back down. He also says that its excrement is like food for the fishes.
Oh no.
And so that's how he like gets them to come.
Oh,
So,
gross.
yeah, so he's kind
Yeah.
of like eating his own poop.
Dang, the Norwegian fishes got it rough.
Yeah.
They gotta eat some big crab poop.
As a quote, though, from Jacob Wallenberg, he says, "Could one doubt that this is the Leviathan of Job?"
Oh.
Because the Leviathan is talked about
In the Bible.
In the Bible.
Because there's 3 giant monsters.
The behemoth is one,
The behemoth,
the Leviathan,
the Leviathan,
and then I don't know the third one you're talking
because it's like one in the air. I thought.
about.
Maybe it's like I'll call him Rodan.
Okay.
But there's the giant monsters that are mentioned, I think, in the Book of Job.
Yeah.
I think like angels fight them for the control of the earth, because I think that was before.
I thought I heard something about how God created 2 Leviathans, just like he created 2 of all animal to reproduce, but they had to kill one because, like, if they were to reproduce, they would just make too many of them and they would eat everybody.
Get on too much.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, it'd be like, have you seen a seahorse give birth?
oh yeah, they just like
They
shoot them
out
babies
like
out.
hundreds, dude.
Dang.
It's like Al Pacino and Scarface. Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. There's
But-
like 300-400 that just spread out, dude.
Isn't that? But that's crazy because it's just
Imagine
like.
being created like that.
Well, you know what's wild too is because it's like, all right, well, God's like, all right, I'm gonna make a bunch of animals. Everyone, check this out. Boom, 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 boom. Check out this platypus. It's pretty funny looking. He's like, also, here's this big giant dinosaur thing that's gonna live on the earth. Here's this big old giant fish monster. If they get it on, it's gonna take over the entire planet. All right, everyone, have fun. It's been a fun 7 days. Like, we gotta take care of this behemoth and this leviathan before they take over the world. And that's, I think the angels come down with a big old spear and they shoot at it. And
It also says in the book of Revelation that after the world is over, all the believers or all the people in heaven are going to be at this feast and they're going to have the Leviathan like grilled up.
oh dang!
Yeah, they're going to make carnitas out of the
Oh.
Leviathan.
I hope it holds long enough. It's been a while.
I don't know, dude. But it's
Ooh, maybe like a nice potato salad too.
but that brings us to our next person who has talked about the Kraken. And that's the year is 1802. It's a French malacologist, which means he's a zoologist studying mollusks.
Oh, hey.
and-
He's a French doctor, right, too?
yeah.
Trying to find which ones taste the best.
So his name is Pierre Denis de Montfort. And he claimed the existence of 2 types of octopus. So Hoovermans talks about this guy in a bad light in his book.
Uh-oh.
Because this guy was... So squids were a known thing
Mm-hmm.
by this time in the world. And there was a word for octopus and there was a word for squid. But this guy refuses to call anything remotely like an octopus not an octopus.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls all squids octopus. And he will describe a squid and call it an octopus
Oh, no.
intentionally.
Oh, he's...
Like, I don't know what his deal is, but
Ignorant, dude.
Yeah, he's like... he's like an RPG video game.
You
'Cause
ain't
they always
better
call
than them.
squids octopuses in those. Do you know what the difference is, too?
what?
Between a squid and an octopus?
There's a lot of differences.
Well, because, people say, oh, they got a bunch of legs and they live in the ocean. And what's the
Yeah.
big deal? Octopus, they have 8 legs.
Yeah.
And they have a big squishy ball-like head.
Yep.
And squids, they have 6 arms,
Yeah.
6 little tentacles, and they have 2 really big long grabbers.
Mhm.
And their head's more like a cone. And
They have 10 legs, though, do they not?
Or is it 10?
Yeah,
it
they-
might be 10 and then
No,
they have...
well, they have 8 long ones, and then, or the 8 tentacles with the 2 really long ones.
Okay, I think
for
that
a
might
total
be...
of 10,
yeah. I'm thinking, too, because of bloopers from Super Mario Brothers. Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
have different tentacle lengths. But, yeah, so that's the difference. So,
Yeah.
they are 2 completely different, but really cool, similar-like creatures.
Yeah.
And,
But squids are definitely, I don't know. Octopuses are really smart,
yeah.
like extremely smart. Like,
they
they're
can
really
get
cool.
out of, like, traps and stuff.
Oh, yeah. But squids are like the deadly killing machines for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's
like-
like it's like us and chimpanzees. It's like we're thinking we got clothes, we're
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then chimpanzees just run around mauling anything they can see, throwing their poop everywhere, killing and eating. And sometimes
That's what all the octopuses are thinking about the squids.
and then sometimes we take the babies and we put them in movies.
So uncivilized.
Like
So-
Squidward.
So this Pierre Montfort guy says that there's two types of octopus. There's the Kraken octopus and the larger colossal octopus.
Of course.
It's just like there's two kinds. There's octopus and mega octopus.
And this guy, man, he also says that 10 British warships that had mysteriously disappeared in 1782 must have been attacked and sunken by giant octopuses.
There's only explanation.
It's the only one. But the British revealed shortly afterwards, because somebody survived from the ship sinking, that the ships had been caught in a hurricane and were not dragged to the bottom of the ocean by giant octopuses. And because of this, Montfort was disgraced.
Wait, what year did that happen?
This was 1782.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. They're just like, hey, everyone, unfortunately we lost these two ships, and a big old two squids were there, and they ate the ships, and it was a massacre. Some guy who's like the sole survivor, and he's just like, no, there was a hurricane. And then Monsieur Poo-Poo is just like, who paid off this man? It's a conspiracy.
Well,
That's crazy.
he wasn't taken very seriously after that. And he actually resorted to like making really mean jokes about it.
Oh, no.
So here's a quote of one of them, and he says, "If my colossal octopus is accepted, I shall make it sink a whole squadron in the second edition."
Oh.
Petty, man.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's pretty funny, though.
And
Tom Petty.
Oh.
then they found him dead in the Paris street in 1820.
Oh, no.
Like poor, like he had no money.
Just like
Oh,
Edgar
no.
Allan Poe.
Yeah.
Terrible.
He also wrote a book on beekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, after this.
But he said there were two kinds of bees. Bees and colossal bees.
See, you're roasting this man. This man lost his entire life for saying a colossal octopus was out there.
That's pretty bad. Hey, man, sometimes you know when to hold them and you gotta know when to fold them.
Following Montfort's example, another guy figured he might as well go out on a limb and say a colossal octopus existed as well. But he didn't call it a colossal octopus, he called it a squid.
He repackaged it. He took
Yeah.
that idea and he just repackaged it.
So his name was Johann Japetus Steenstrup.
Oh, wow.
And he almost shared the same fate as Montfort, because he presents this paper about squids
Mm.
to the Society of Scandinavian Naturalists in 1847. And he's saying, because like everyone knows there's like the squids in the Mediterranean, which are like pretty small.
Sure.
Mm.
Then there's, like giant squids, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
like 7 to 8 feet
Yeah.
long ones, kind of like the bigger ones, but
That's about as big
nothing
as
like
they
what's
get.
reported,
Nothing that can take down an entire ship full
Yeah.
of 300 people.
Yeah, and so he writes in this paper that he's proposing the existence of it, and he calls it the Architeuthis monachus.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, and teuthis is the word that Plato or Socrates, I think it was Socrates, he gave to the squids in the Mediterranean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
So a little classy kind of throwback
Yeah.
there. He's like, hey, listen, I know I'm trying to talk about this crazy idea of a giant squid, but I'm do it in a cool, legit way that lets me know I'm hip with the crowd.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of Socrates for you, you old boomers.
So, so like I said, he put this out there, and everyone's kind of looking at him crazy. And the only difference in this man's life is that a giant squid actually washed on the shore in his lifetime, 4 years after he gave this presentation.
Oh, dang. I was just going to say on the
So-
same day.
No, That would be insane.
They're all just like staring at him at the stage. He's just like, look, there's a giant squid. They're all like, hey, good dog.
My bad.
And then they look out the window, and the giant squid just like washes up on shore.
So
Flopping, jopping.
my bad. It was 6 years afterwards. So
But still, that's
yeah, and
pretty good time.
He was able to study it, and he studied it for like 4 years. So that's where I got the 4 years. But so people were like reporting sightings of things like 20 feet long and like bigger. You know.
Well, how big was the one that washed up?
See that it didn't say.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know. I can't find it.
I'm assuming maybe 20. Let's say 20 feet, because
Yeah, somewhere in there.
It's 50 meters.
50 meters. So in Iceland in 1790, this is Thimbletickle Island or Thimbletickle Iceland.
Island.
Thimbletickle Island.
Well, get ready because we're talking about the Thimbletickle squids. I'm not making this up.
They're right past the cuttlefish.
So, some fishermen are going out and they find this like squid in the rocks, and it's like tentacles are all like squished in the rocks and it can't like get out, so it's stuck. So they, ripped it out.
Oh no.
And they were like measured. They didn't measure the whole thing. They only measured the longest tentacle, which was 35 feet long. Yeah, dude.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Did you so just like in a boat, and there's just a squid the size of the boat, like flapping around,
It's probably bigger than their boat.
and they're just like, grab it.
We're having calamari tonight, boys.
And they fed it to their dogs.
They didn't need it?
No.
Damn.
I don't know, dude. So 14 giant squids wash up on the shore of Iceland in the span of 10 years.
Dang.
Yeah, dude.
Ooh, the mermen are winning those fights with the squids.
I guess so, but Heuvelmans brings up another kind of reason for the mass suicide, as he calls it. But, well, because the squids in this region, they seek, like, temperatures of 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's kind of like where they're at. And if the water ever gets too cold, they like swim up closer to the surface
Where
to
it's
get
colder?
to where it's warmer.
Oh, okay.
Because if it gets too cold down there, they go up to get warmer.
Oh, okay. I see.
You
I
know,
see.
I know 50 degrees is not warm to us, but like it
Yeah.
is for these squids.
They're like, ooh, it's 51 degrees. Oh, it's a little too hot in here. I'm smelting.
I've taken off all the sweaters, dude.
So,
I took off my hat.
but what happens is sometimes it gets too cold and the water isn't warm enough, and so they just die
Damn.
from getting too cold.
Oh, and they're so close to the surface.
Yeah,
that
they just kind of float out.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of sucks.
And then all the dogs have dinner for weeks.
Yeah.
That's wild, though. I mean, it's just something as simple as just like, I'm cold, but I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Help, help.
So, but, alright, so here's the thing, too. People were, like, against, like, monsters. You know how people are, like, against Bigfoot? You know? To, like, say the Kraken isn't real now, it's kind of like, the legendary one isn't real, but, like, it's based on, that we obviously know there's, like, giant squids now. But, like, back at the time, people were just as against giant squids as they are against Bigfoot, dude. I'm telling you. People were, like, saying that the tentacles that were pulled out of the ocean were just seaweed. Or sometimes people just attack people's character and say that they weren't, like, good people.
The parallels are uncanny.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, it's wild.
We got giant tentacles out there, too.
Yeah, dude.
That's wild. I mean, that's crazy. It's just like, hey, look, I found this big giant arm. It looks like a squid arm, but it's huge. Yeah. They're like, boy, that is some fat-ass seaweed you found.
They're like, you're not only a thief, but a liar.
Yeah, and they kick him in the nuts for good measure, too. You're like, I should have never found the damn thing.
So when was it, like, generally accepted?
Well, we're kind of getting there. I'm going to say a couple more things that were found.
Okay.
Because, like, a bunch of people in Japan and New Zealand were also discovering, like, giant squids washed up on shore.
Yeah. I think even, like, Japanese fishermen were, like, finding them and just, like, fighting them and stuff.
Well, Japanese whalers were actually finding chunks of squids that had been thrown up by whales. But, like, giant pieces of squid.
Huh.
And,
it's the big giant eyeball.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Frank Boulin. So this is kind of like, and they're discovering like giant chunks of squid thrown up. They're finding like suction cup scars on whales, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, whoa, this is like crazy. Like this, like they know what it looks like, but they're like, this is bigger than anything we've ever seen.
The size of like a plate.
Yeah, but I mean, it's starting to be like more and more accepted. You know, you're out there, you see a couple of thrown up giant tentacles. You're like, oh, whatever. Those things are out there somewhere. But I haven't seen them, so they're not causing me no damage. But this guy Frank Boulin on a whale ship in 1875. He was 18 years old. Not sure why that's important, but he actually saw a battle between a squid and a whale.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I guess he said it was like towards the surface, but not quite. And he just saw like this huge like mass of like tentacles like writhing around this whale as they were battling. And he said he could see that the squid's tail was in the whale's mouth, and he was like biting on it as it was like swarming and going nuts. And he also said that there was a perimeter of sharks around because they were waiting for like
who the winner and who the loser was.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy too, because
Yeah.
you figure, and you're just stuck in a boat.
Yeah.
Like being like, I
Well,
hope
he was
they...
on a whaling ship, so like, you know, bigger. But...
Yeah, but just like I hope they don't come up here.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy. And I mean, could you imagine? Because you know, in the ocean there's like whales and stuff. What if there was things as big as whales on the land?
That'd be insane, dude.
And just walking around, and we just had to like move cities around, and sometimes they had an enemy that they would fight.
Yeah.
Imagine if something was twice the size of an elephant walking around in America, and it was just like, oh crap, the horde's coming. Like,
Yeah.
don't stampede. And then also they fight like giant like crabs, and you're just like, dear God, I hope they don't go to my house.
That's they have that in the Museum of Natural History. That battle.
Really?
Yeah, remember?
That
From the
exact
movie.
one?
It's got to be.
Probably.
Ooh.
The
But
one-
yeah, the squid and the
he
whale,
was in
the movie, yeah.
But yeah, that's actually
Sick.
in the Museum of History. Natural
Yeah.
History Museum.
Have you seen that movie, The Squid and the Whale?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, a long time ago.
you should watch it.
Yeah,
recently.
the kid's
It's great.
crazy, right?
Oh yeah, the little boy.
Yeah. God, I just remember he had a lot of problems in that movie, and they did not help him at all.
He's like, "What's going on, Frank?"
No, Frank, no. Don't do it.
Shoots out the cashew from his nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, disgusting. All right.
There wasn't even a whale in that movie.
But yeah, if any of you were curious about the imagery, go to the museum. Check out the exhibit or look it up online.
It's in New York, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
Just look up a
Bugs.
picture. Look up
Yeah,
a
look
picture.
up a
Yeah,
picture.
go to a museum. Go out there, learn some knowledge.
Yeah.
Come on.
Absorb the world around you.
So, but what about? So there's like all these giant squids being found,
Yeah.
like all over the place. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this. The one found in New Zealand was 57 feet long. Yeah, dude.
Whoa.
It was just like washed up on the shore.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And all the dogs just looked at each other and were like,
All the-
"Oh
okay.
God."
But here's the kicker: 49 feet of the 57 feet is just tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
I
still,
thought you were gonna say hey. I was like, whoa.
It's just a tiny little leg.
Tiny little tentacles.
yeah, dude.
But still, just
Yeah.
the size, like, just a.
Yeah. Do we know like the amount of force they can exert, like squeezing wise?
I have no idea.
Because they can definitely like a
That's
boa,
gotta-
right? They can just squeeze things to death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume there's got to be a maybe like a Discovery Channel
That's horrifying.
something. Yeah, just
Yeah,
they're down
That's what
there.
scares me.
yeah.
And then imagine if they
I'd have
learn
to-
how to breathe on land.
I'd have to
But-
bite my way through, dude.
Like what
I got a lot of
Stefan,
soy sauce.
like what Stefan here is worried about. Attacking ships. Are there any records of giant squids attacking ships?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is actually kind of one from the 1930s.
Oh no.
And this is anywhere between 1930 and 1933.
Okay.
I don't know why it's so vague. But Captain Arne Groningsater of the Royal Norwegian Navy
Oh, of course, Norwegian.
said that his tanker was attacked by a giant squid off the coast of Hawaii. So the squid, like they were just sailing around, and the squid comes up, swimming up next to him, and then just tries to grab a hold of the hull.
Oh.
But it's metal plated, so it can't grab a hold, like it can't sink its little suction cups in there. because I think squids have the spikes, right?
Yeah. Like the little barbs.
It's
because
not just like an octopus where it's just
it's
like
soft
suction.
little sections, but they have a lot of power. But yes,
Yeah.
squids are like designed to grab and hold so they can get their little gross mouth up to eat it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So, but because it was metal plated, it couldn't grab it.
Could you imagine seeing up the side just like a big tentacle, just like.
Well,
Yeah, chop it.
they saw it and then it slipped and got chopped up by the propeller.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it
And then
died.
it got angry.
No, it died.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was like, I thought we were talking about like just a complete wood chip. I'm like, someone got a taste of mahogany.
No.
It goes wild for the
So-
wood.
But the book I've been talking about, In the Wake of Sea Serpents, was published in 1958
Okay.
and then translated to English in 1968. But I don't know when Heuvelmans passed away, definitely before the 21st century. So that means he never saw the colossal squid.
Dang.
And I remember when the colossal squid was like a thing, dude. Like I was like a little kid at the time.
I
dude.
remember wasting an hour and a half trying to watch James Cameron find a giant squid.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that was the Discovery Channel special.
Was it 3D?
And I don't think it was 3D, but it was In Search of the Giant Squid. James Cameron goes to the deep. And it was like, they spent like $1 million or something to like get this camera. And they went down there. They didn't find anything, but they still have the audacity to put out the special. And be like, someday we'll find it. And then people with their cell phones found it up on the beach. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, ah.
So those sperm whale scars that they were finding on those whales, those Japanese ones, they were like really confusing Heuvelmans because he was like doing like crazy math of like suction cup size, and they just were not lining up to like the sperm whale,
Ooh.
like to the ones of the scars, because like even like that 57-foot long one, it still had like relatively small like suction cups, and so now it's believed that they come from the colossal squid. Because it's like girthier than regular squids. It's the biggest squid in terms of mass.
It's chonky.
Yeah, so it's not long specifically, but it is
Just
big.
wide.
Yeah, like big, dude.
Imagine seeing like a square squid swimming up to you.
Yeah, dude.
It's like
So-
something out of like Minecraft.
Oh god.
They found the first one in 2003 of a subadult female near the surface of the ocean. Her total length was 20 feet.
Oh.
But it's still ginormous.
No,
but,
that's a big squid, but she
Yeah.
was thick.
well, the next one they found is even thicker.
Oh
And
no.
and this is the one I think I remember seeing a special on, because they defrosted it and everything. But
Okay.
they found in 2007 it was weighing 1,091 pounds, and it was estimated to be 15 feet in length. 15 feet, and you're like half a ton.
That's
Right.
crazy.
And not only that, because they found beaks of the colossal squids in whales, and these two specimens, they were small compared to the ones they found, which means there's bigger ones out there
Dude,
just swimming around.
and it's scary because they got they got like beaks.
yeah.
Like, it's just like, all right, what's the most horrifying thing you could think of? It's like, well, parrots are kind of scary because they have those big giant beaks. You're scared to bite because they can take big chips out of you. And like,
Yeah.
well, now there's something on the water with it too for good measure.
Like one the size of like your head.
Yeah, why do they need beaks? Why don't they just have teeth?
Like tentacles aren't scary enough, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez, squeeze you to death. They could bite you in half.
Yeah, dude.
Horrifying.
So these guys who found it, they brought it on board, froze it, and they took it back to New Zealand to study it, where it's actually still on display.
Ooh.
So we could go see this chonker boy.
Yeah.
Um,
You can even get homemade sushi made from it for a good price.
Where did you say it was?
It's at the Museum of New Zealand Te Papa Tongarewa.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they got
we're
it
going right now, dude.
Yeah, they have it next to the skeleton of a hobbit.
We'll finish the podcast when we get there.
Yeah.
We're going mobile.
We're driving to New Zealand, everybody.
Yeah, so, and just for those people who are wondering about giant squids, which are official classification now, the estimated maximum size is 43 feet for females and 33 feet for males. Because they're dimorphic, so women, the females are always bigger than the males.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Crazy.
But for some invertebrates, dude, they're pretty large.
Yeah,
And
no,
they weigh a lot.
Yeah.
No, it's just big giant squids. I mean, it's crazy too, because you figure this guy was like, hey, listen, I'm kind of thinking about the way that nature works. Usually there's always something and a bigger version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds reasonable with beetles, monkeys and stuff. He's like, well, I think it's about squids too. They're like, you are a crazy man and a fool and a liar, and you were wrong. Got to 200 years later, and they're like, oh, guess what we found? Big squids! And then the slide whistle plays at the guy's funeral.
Well, it's crazy because, I was like, all those people who were publicly derided and humiliated for believing in them, is it going to be the same thing if Bigfoot's ever found?
Yeah.
Like, all those people who were derided for believing in Bigfoot for, like, ever are just still going to be forgotten, but everyone's just going to be like, yeah, I always knew Bigfoot was real. Mm-hmm. Like, I always knew a colossal squid was a thing. Like, what? No, you didn't.
Of course not.
That's so crazy. But yeah, man. One of these days, Bigfoot's just gonna come walking out of the woods.
Dude.
Just be like,
With his hands up.
hey, everybody, I'm Bigfoot. How you doing? And it's just like, hey, Bigfoot's real now.
Bigfoot's just Al Pacino's Jimmy Hoffa. I work for you!
But yeah, I think what did you guys get on the
let's
Cracker
see.
Barrel?
You pretty much got everything that I got.
Yeah,
you
for
know
sure.
what? You know what's funny is, so we talked about it's Scandinavian,
Yeah.
which is interesting because you always think Kraken is more like Greek mythology,
Yeah.
and I think we all think that because a movie called Clash of the Titans came out.
Well, I never saw it.
It's good. It's 1984, maybe 83.
Something like that.
And then they did a remake, right?
They really stay away from the remake.
Yeah.
And they did a sequel to the remake.
Nah, stay away from the sequel to the remake.
Stay away from Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, no. But Clash of the Titans, it's like a mishmash of different myths kind of thrown together, and it's about Percy, who I think in this he's like the son of Zeus, and he falls in love with the queen Andromeda, and then she gets kidnapped by like a wizard, and he tries to sacrifice her, and Perseus has to save her. And
Fun movie.
It's pretty good.
Cool effects.
Yeah, Ray Harryhausen did it. He just lost stop motion.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's,
shit.
It's dope. And so the climax of the movie is they're going to sacrifice Andromeda to the Kraken. So she's tied up to a rock. And they go, release the Kraken. And this big giant, it's almost like a Gillman-like face with a Gillman-type body, but like 4 arms. And it has like a mermaid tail, and it comes out and is like this big stop motion monster.
Wow.
And it's just like it's the Kraken. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then Perseus flies up and he has Medusa's head. And he uses Medusa's head to turn the monster into stone and defeats it.
Spoilers, dude.
It's the cover of the box. It's the cover of the movie.
That's true. That's very true.
It's awesome.
So that's where that comes from. We'll release the Kraken.
Oh, really?
And
That's so crazy.
So that's where we get the idea of the Kraken being like a Greek myth-associated monster.
Yeah.
But it obviously looks nothing like how it's
Yeah.
described.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because Greek mythology does have a lot of similar type Kraken monsters though.
Yeah.
Because there's the Odyssey where they have to go. They're trying to get back to Greece, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to go through. They're like, well, the only way to get there is to go through this area. And there's 2 monsters on each side, and one of them's a whirlpool, and they'll grab you and pour you down into the whirlpool.
Huh.
So the ship's gonna be wrecked by being pulled down.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you get some of that image of the Kraken. And then also on the other side is her name's like Siscalia, and she was a woman who was cursed by the gods because I think Poseidon fell in love with her.
Well, how do you know all this? Is this just in your brain?
Yeah.
What? Whenever I read the Odyssey, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo to me. I'm like, all right, I don't know who any of
Wait,
these
is that
people
the sirens part?
No, that's different part.
Okay.
I think that's before, because they get stuck in that area and there's Island of the Sirens. Some of them get turned into piggies.
Yeah.
Then they gotta escape. They go through, and then Siscalia, she's been cursed because she was like pretty, so she's still a woman on the top part, but the down part she has like 7 revid dog heads and tentacles flowing everywhere. So if anyone ever tries to get close to her, the dogs eat them.
Poor woman.
But that's where you get those tentacles getting all crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all I remember the Kraken from is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and then that's probably
And
one of the most famous things.
One of the ones I still have this question. So they say release the Kraken, right? And they do this thing, they spin the thing, and then it goes, and then the Kraken shows up. Like, is that like a trap door? Is that opening up? Do they have the Kraken inside the thing?
No.
Is it a signal for the Kraken?
They play the mating call.
It's the summoning.
But like,
It's a
how would
sound
it get
wave.
there so fast?
It probably is around the general area of.
But that's incredibly convenient.
Well,
Maybe
it's
they took
Davy
him there for a
Jones.
reason. Yeah, maybe
So
they
that's-
put him there for a reason.
Well, because he's supernatural.
Oh yeah, I
Because
guess so. Yeah.
remember, there's the part where they're like, hey Jack, how are we going to get on the Flying Dutchman? And they're looking through the peephole or the telescope.
Oh yeah, and he,
Davy
like,
Jones
teleports.
teleports immediately because
Yeah.
it's like, I'm on the ocean. Like, what else? This is my domain. So
True.
the Kraken
I didn't
probably,
even think about that.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But also, because of the second movie, I give or take it, it's got some cool stuff and some bad stuff. But, like, it's such a cool hook towards just Davy Jones. It's just like,
Davy
I
Jones
got
is
a
awesome.
Kraken.
Oh yeah, I love that, dude.
And then the third movie ruins it.
Well, he died.
Yeah, they
But,
kill the Kraken.
It fits with the overall theme.
No, it doesn't. They
of the
wrote that
story.
movie on the fly. They
The
were.
world's getting smaller, dude.
What was that? The quote? The world hasn't gotten smaller. It's only gotten more vast. A wheel is a wheel. Remember that quote you were saying?
I don't think he says a wheel.
No, I just.
But no,
Miles a mile.
he says it's still the same world. There's just less stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, dude. Well, what is walking around Red Dead 2 after you've done everything? There's no bandits jumping out to shoot ya. There's no animals running around. I mean, there are, but they have no meaning
That's when
anymore.
you become the bandit and you try to get the achievement. Survive 5 days with a $5,000 bounty on your head in each land.
What?
Have you seen that
No.
achievement? There's an achievement towards like survive for 5 days with the maximum bounty you have on your head in every area. So you're on the run constantly for 5 days straight.
Wow.
Dude, I want to do that
And guys just
right
keep
now.
coming after you.
I think I could do it.
Yeah.
I have enough power.
How do you activate that?
You just go from town to town, killing everyone until you get a bounty, and just you get the bounty up, and then you start trying to survive.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna do that.
Is that all we got on the Kraken though?
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's it. I mean, Scandinavian giant whale monster, sometimes a crab that has a German word that means octopus. So
release the octopus.
release it now.
It just doesn't have the same weight.
Right?
I think I'm gonna release myself from this episode. So, Alex, how do I find you?
Well, if you want to find me on Instagram or Twitter, you can find me at Alex Daikaiju. That's Alex DAIKAIJU. What about you, baby boy?
You can find me on Instagram at MyersSteffen. That's STEFFEN. Ah, I even messed it up.
Oh,
It's
no.
MyersSteffen, MYERSSTEFFEN. Backwards.
You've been drinking too much salt water.
Ah!
What about you, fella?
You can find me at the Eli Watson on both Instagram and Twitter, and you can follow our official Cryptid Campfire Instagram. That's at Cryptid Campfire on both on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I kind of run all three of those. I know Alex pitches in with he started the Twitter, so
Yeah,
that's kind of his domain.
Yeah, so if you're talking to the Instagram, it's Eli. If you're talking to the Twitter, it's me, possibly Jasmine or Eli, because we kind of rotate around on that. And also you can check us out on the cryptidcampfire.com, the official website.
And where you can get your official Cryptid Campfire t-shirt.
And if you enjoyed this episode, you want to hear more, you can support us on the Patreon. We have an official Patreon with exclusive episodes and exclusive content.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's... Oh, if you want to email us at cryptidcampfirepodcast@gmail.com. We like getting emails.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because we get them rarely, so send one to us.
Yes, so...
And I think that's about it.
Yeah, you take it easy.